All right, guys, I'm here with Anthony and Natasha, and I'm going to show them something pretty cool, hopefully. Now, I need a deck of cards, and obviously I have a deck of cards, but this trick is much more impressive if I use a borrowed deck of cards. Do you guys have a deck of cards?
Yeah, I go get it.
You just grab it quick? Okay. This trick is like a game, okay? It's a game. I'll play, and we're going to see how we do. So you guys are going to try your best, and yeah, perfect. Some nice bikes here. All right. So I'm going to give you half the cards, and what I want you to do is take out 10 black cards, and I'm going to take out 10 red cards. Actually, here you can do this. You take out 10 red cards, okay? Got 10?
Yep.
Ready to count, or you can count?
I can count.
Okay, you can put the rest of the cards off to the side.
I only had 10 red ones.
He only had 10 black ones. And that's my first trick. All right. So I'm going to give these cards a mix, and we're going to play a game of intuition. Basically, we're going to attempt to figure out which cards is which. So as you can see, good, nice mix of cards. Okay, here's what I want you to do. We'll start. Can either of you do the poker or riffle shuffle? No.
Absolutely not.
Can you? You're going to try for me though.
Okay.
Or we can do it in a special way. So the special way is like this. If I take them and I can kind of blend them like this, and that simulates a riffle shuffle if you just push them together. So go ahead, push them together. So mix up these cards. So now none of us can know the order. Are you confident with that?
Yeah.
All right. Now what I'm going to have you do is take those cards, hold them up, and deal a pile for me and a pile for you. So you go 1, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, perfect. So now we have a totally random mixture of cards, and the game is going to be to guess which cards are red and which cards are black. And we're each going to play, and we're going to see how we can do. Now, I want you to hold the pile in your hand. I'm going to try to guess the ones in yours, and you're going to try to guess the ones in mine. Now, obviously, the reason I wanted to use your deck is because if these cards I had marked them in some way, I could easily just look at the back and know if it was red or black. So that's why this trick is very important that you know that there's no. So you're just going to do your best, and I'm going to do my best. Theoretically, we should each get 5, right, based on probability. So go first. What do you think?
I think it's a
red or black.
Red or black?
Yeah.
Black.
Black. Very good. So we'll do I'll do a right pile on the right and a wrong pile on the left. You do the same. I'm going to say red.
Red. So right or right. Red.
Very good. Oh, that's great. Good job. Black.
Oh, black.
Natasha, I'll take a guess. Or should you keep answering streak or black?
You can keep answering streak or black.
Black. Oh.
No good. It's a red one. This is how you do it. Try this next time.
Okay, I will.
Black.
Black. Okay, let me try now. Red. Oh, didn't work. I guess I'm not a wizard yet.
How should you have a feeling?
I'm thinking red.
Red.
Red? Woohoo!
Bring the team down. Red.
Another wrong one for Ant-Man. Okay. Here, take a peek at it this time. Just don't show me. I'm gonna try to read you. Look at me.
Okay.
Think about the color. See, this guy likes to stump me. He's thinking black. It's red.
Red. I wasn't lying. I was thinking red. I'm not a liar.
All right, we got 5 left each. All right.
Yep. Red.
There we go. Tie it up. Black.
Black.
Let's pick up the pace here.
Black.
Very good. Red.
Red. Red.
Red.
Red.
All right.
Red.
Red.
Oh.
Very good. Black.
Black.
Can I go 10 for 10? What do you say?
Last one was red. I'm gonna go black.
Black it is, and I'm gonna say 10 for 10 here. Red.
And it's red.
So, here's the point. Pretty cool, right? Now, I put a lot of practice into this, so that's why I'm just a master. I can get 10 for 10, whereas you guys got 6 out of 10, which is just above average. So, realistically, that's what I would call a quite good score. Well, I want to teach you how you can get better at this. Okay, so we can take these cards and you're going to learn. Basically, did you use like intuition, or did you use like more like just did you try to think about it, like kind of what I was doing? Like, what did you?
I just at the start I got lost on which one. I was going black, red, black, red, black, red, black, red.
But that obviously didn't work because you shuffled and they were mixed. So,
Yeah, I had to feel
but
it.
did you? So you were trying to feel it, or you were trying to use intuition though?
Trying to feel it.
Trying to feel it. Okay, well, I'm going to teach you. So you need to use a bit more intuition. I know some of the time I was feeling it, but near the end there, I was just kind of going with my gut. Now it's important because here's how it works. I'll explain how I do it. So, what is color? Color is the reflection that our eyes perceive from the light, right? It's the pigment of the card.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a feeling, right? It's a feeling that your eyes get from looking at the light. She doesn't believe this, but it's true. So this one we can obviously see, we get the feeling it's a red card. So you can apply that same theory to the back of the card. It's sort of a perception thing, right? So, but I want you to be more intuitive this time. Okay, I'll mix up the cards. I want you to hold these in your hand. Hold them. Now what do you feel that first card is?
Black.
You feel it's black. Alright, flip it over and let's see. So, off to a bad start, but I'm hoping we can improve. So here's what we're going to do. This will be the red pile, this will be the black pile. Okay, I want you to just deal.
Yeah.
Just go quick, use your intuition, just deal them face down. Okay?
Intuition.
Yeah. Black or red, whatever you
Speed, speed, speed.
Alright.
Nice.
So this should be the black pile and this should be the red pile, right? Let me see how we did here. You'd be surprised. Actually pretty good. So I'll take the red.
Yep.
Red, we'll put the red on the bottom. Let's see.
Well, that's pretty good.
Whoa.
A perfect split. Black and red cards. You have learned. How do you feel?
I feel pretty powerful right
You
now.
are the almighty.
I can control the cards.
You can.
I feel them. That's
You are the
black
cards.
one. That's the black one.
All right. What is good, guys? It is Reed and welcome back to another video. Today we got How to Make Your Magic Better, episode 9, all about approaching and how to approach groups in a magic setting, how you approach people to perform magic to them. Now this is something that I do have a fair amount of experience with, as I do a lot of performing. And there's different contexts. Sometimes you're familiar with the people, sometimes it's random strangers, but regardless, it's important to know how to approach. Because even if you know them, approaching them to have a conversation and then be able to transition that conversation into magic is important. If you want to go and perform something for someone, whether you know them or not, sometimes it's tricky to get into performing, right? It's tricky to just be able to start performing magic. How do you transition either from a conversation or just straight into it? So this video is going to be all about approaching people you know, people you don't know, how to make a good first impression, and ultimately how to build that rapport with people by approaching them. So I hope you guys are excited for this video. Do me a favor, drop a like on this video, drop a comment. It really helps the algorithm. And if you guys like what you see here, that really helps me out. So without any further ado, let's jump into How to Make Your Magic Better, episode 9, all about approaching. Now let's get into what is approaching. So when I'm referencing approaching, I'm talking about approaching an audience to perform to them, right? This is really just about how to introduce yourself, how to start the conversation, what you should say to them off the bat. Approaching is all these things, and it's really important. It's from the first line that you use to how you introduce yourself, to how you introduce the magic aspect into it, and to how you get people to agree to want to watch you perform. And your approach is probably the most important thing when it comes to that, because it's really what it's all going to come down to what it all relies on for them to say yes. If you come across weird, then unfortunately there's not a good chance they're going to want to say yes to you or watch you. It really just is as simple as an introduction. It's how you introduce yourself, and even something as simple as that a lot of people struggle with these days, you know. Like I said in the last video on performance anxiety in the context of magic, so how to make your magic better, episode 8, go check that video out if you haven't. I think it's over there actually. Go check that video out if you haven't already, because it is an awesome video and it ties very closely into this video. I would almost go as far as to say this is a part 2 to that video, just a little bit more specific on the approach aspect, because performance anxiety and approaching go hand in hand, right? If you need to know how to approach to be able to perform, and both of them are, you know, approaching new audiences, and it's something that a lot of people are nervous about doing, and it is difficult to do. So like I kind of mentioned in that video, I feel like, you know, a lot of people, whether it has to do with social media or everything being online, people have lost a lot of social skills, and because of that, this can become a difficult thing to approach random people, new people, and even just knowing how to properly introduce yourself. You know, a lot of people will approach someone and forget to give them their name, right? Like that's kind of the first thing you should say. So we're going to get into all of that in this video. Besides just your introduction, it's also your first impression, which is really important, especially if you're asking something of someone. Now, it's not exactly a favor, right? Asking someone to show them magic isn't like, hey, can you do this for me? So there's a lot better chance that they'll say yes, because you are actually doing something for them in a sense. But still, just them saying yes is them accepting to watch what you're doing and give you some of their time, right? And people really value their time, so you need to make a good first impression and get those people to actually want to listen and see what you have to say. First impressions are super important, right? It's your whole image is gonna weigh on that first impression for you know, the beginning of your set at least. So there's a lot of things you want to keep in mind when you are approaching. So why is it important approaching? Well, besides just, you know, building that first impression, it is very good for calming their nerves, your spectators' nerves. And I know that seems weird, but trust me, spectators get nervous, especially when you're showing them something like magic. A lot of people haven't seen magic. A lot of people don't know what to expect. And you don't know how many times I've had people tell me, I'm kind of nervous, like before I've done anything, any tricks yet, but they just know I'm about to show them magic because they don't know what to expect. A lot of people don't know what to expect, especially when you just say, hey, I'm a magician. I mean, people have the idea in their head that it's pull a rabbit out of a hat. You know, that's what a magician is. And so if you're more of a street performer type like myself, then they don't really know what to expect, right? And so people are going to get nervous. People, especially if you're asking someone to come help you out right away and things like this, people do get nervous, and it's important to calm their nerves to get the best reactions and the best experience for everyone involved. If you can't calm their nerves, they're going to be uptight, especially if you're filming it to use on YouTube or something. You really need to relax their nerves so you can incite the best reactions out of them, which are good for your video, say, if that's what you're going for. But regardless, you need to calm them so that you can give them an enjoyable experience. You know, they need to be relaxed and trust you in all these things. And you build a lot of trust in that first impression, right? So it's very important to come off as a nice, trustworthy kind of person, especially if you're going to be, you know, asking to borrow their phone at some point, or those kind of tricks that are a little bit more personal. You definitely need to establish that trust. Now, I wouldn't recommend you open with something like that, but just food for thought. So getting them comfortable, super important, but also getting you comfortable and calming your nerves. A good approach can do wonders for actually calming your nerves. Just like I talked about with doing a good opener, that's easy. Once the first opener, your first trick goes well, your nerves come way down. It's the same thing with the approach. You're super nervous until you have broken that communication barrier and you find out, hey, this person's actually really nice, they're very into watching the magic. Then there's no issues anymore and all those nerves sort of go away. So then, establishing credibility, sort of what I've talked about in the performance anxiety video with openers. Again, the intro, your approach to someone, how you introduce yourself is sort of like your first opener. It's not magic related, but it's opening the floor to you, okay? And so in the same sense as an opener, you want to establish your credibility. With an intro, you do as well. So like I said before, what are some of the things we want to convey when we introduce ourselves? Well, we want to convey we're trustworthy, we're nice, we're here to have fun. You want to give a bit of your personality as well, and what your character might be when you perform. So whether you're serious or funny or whatever it happens to be. So, you know, I like to maybe crack a joke. As an example, I'll give you, you know, what I do. For me personally, it's very important that I convey nice, trustworthy, and then specifically to my character, funny and light, and just I'm very like, you know, kind of witty, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that they're watching, and we're just here to have fun, right? That's what my character and how I portray, so I make sure that comes across in my intro. So it establishes you as someone credible that they should give their time to, and like I said, people aren't so easy to want to give up their time, so you really need to make them feel like they want to give you some of their time. Another reason it's important is to build that rapport, which is sort of similar to building credibility, but it's really just about establishing some sort of connection between yourself and your audience, which, like I said, is very important. Just them getting your name, you getting their name, just automatically makes them feel much more comfortable with you. So you need to build that rapport. You're slowly, you know, introducing yourself, explaining what you do, coming across nice, trustworthy, building all these layers so that they feel that they can trust you and that they want to give you their time. Why is this difficult for a lot of people? I think this was touched very well in the How to Make Your Magic Better episode 8 on performance anxiety, because it's very much the same thing. So I'll touch on it very briefly here. But it's simply because a lot of people are shy and introverted, and as humans we are inherently afraid of new audiences and putting ourselves in front of new audiences. There's several reasons for this. We tend to overestimate the stakes involved. We think it's way more of a big deal if we mess up than it is. We tend to be pessimistic. A lot of people are very pessimistic. They think the worst case scenario is always going to happen. We lack confidence, and we're afraid of new situations, and that's something that we've developed as human beings. Most of us experience that significantly. So that's the reason why this feels really difficult. But as I'm going to talk about more in this video, it's really not that difficult. And once you do it, you'll realize that it never goes as bad as you think, and it typically goes very well. And everyone feels the same way, so you need to keep that in mind, that you're not the only one. So even the people meeting you are probably shy that some guy just came up to me, and they're feeling shy just as you are. So how to approach? First, I'll start by saying you want to start small. So kind of like I talked about building that tree of confidence in the last video, you want to start small by approaching people that you semi-know, right? Like obviously you don't need to approach your family member, but you could practice on a family member. Practice your scripts, how you want to introduce yourself and that sort of thing. But you do want to start small. So some good ways, if you go to a party with your friends, right? There's bound to be some friends of friends or something like that, or acquaintances that maybe you know their name or you have seen them around, but you don't really talk to them much. They're great people to practice on because you kind of know them, so you can approach them, but there's a lot less stakes. They know you, you're probably more comfortable with them, plus you're surrounded with your friends, so you could even get a friend to come with you as you do the approach, and just, you know, if you can offer to show them a magic trick, right? And we're going to talk about the things you want to include, what you want to say in your intro in a second, but that's an important strategy, an important technique to use. You can build slowly, so then you do those friends, then you maybe do people's relatives, and then you can move on to complete strangers eventually, and you might want to start with a small group of strangers. So there's only like maybe 1 or 2 people, you know, and it all just translates, and you build that tree of close to you and wider until eventually you can do it to complete strangers and you have no issues. Like I said in the last video on the performance anxiety topic, you want to just fake it till you make it, okay? I'm a big believer in faking it and throwing yourself in the fire. So honestly, you just need to just do it. So like the first time I ever did street magic, I literally just told my friend that was going to be the camera guy, I said, hey, we're going to do this. Here's the date. Let's go. He agreed. So then the date came around and he showed up to my place ready to go. I can't flop on this now. We have to get it done. So I was just, I guess I'm doing this today. And I went down, we went to the park, and I just saw a group and I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. And I just went up to them, I'm like, hey guys. And at that point, once I've said, hey guys, I can't just walk away. It's going to be much more weird. So then I said, you know, I'm a magician, da da da. And that was it. And once I did it that first time, it was so much easier after that because I had a good experience, right? You do it once, and you have no problem after that. So let's talk about specifically what you want to say and some things like that. So I do think it's very good to have a general script that you can stick to when you approach, something that you've thought out a little bit at least. I definitely have something that I use, and again, I wouldn't recommend it's like robotic. You want to have some play, but you want to have the key points you touch on. So first is the opening sentence. Opening sentence is very important, but it's very, very simple. So typically for me, it's, hey guys, how's it going? I'm a magician. I'm out here filming for YouTube. Do you guys want to see something? That's my opening line. The things you want to think about in an opening line: who, what, where, when, why, right? Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? You don't always need the why, but where, I guess you don't need. But these are important things to address. Sort of the who, what, you don't need where and when, but who, what, and why, I would say. So, hi guys, I'm a magician, I'm doing magic, I'm filming for YouTube. So now they understand what the context is and why I am coming up to them in the first place. This is the same thing with anything. Guys, if you're trying to pick up some ladies, it's the same thing. When you approach, you need to get the message out there right away, what your intentions are, who you are, what, and why, right? Same idea. So it's good to start with some kind of hi, how are you? Or hey guys, how's it going? So something where you can just say hi. You need to start by saying hi. It's the easiest thing is the first few words, because we all need to just say hi. So everyone's script should start with a hi or a hello or some kind of greeting. Then it's a good idea to explain who you are and why you're there in a simple sentence. So it's as easy as saying, I'm a magician. I was wondering if you guys wanted to see something, right? If you're not filming for YouTube, for me, I have a good excuse. I'm saying I'm filming for YouTube. But if you guys aren't filming, just say, you know, I'm a magician. I would love to show you guys something, or if you guys want to see what I'm working on or whatever. So that's your opening sentence, right? You construct something simple like that, and you can open any group with that. Then you want to move into the introduction, right? So after they've kind of given you a sure, a yes, right? That opening sentence is important because that kind of is where you're going to get your yes or no. Now, on a quick side note, guys, you're almost always going to get a yes, especially if you pick the right groups, and I'm going to talk about picking the right groups in a second, but you know, people are generally nice and aren't going to want to say no, and magic is fairly intriguing to people, so a lot of people do want to see it, okay? Now, after that, you want to introduce yourself, so it's a great time to say, my name is Reed, what's your name, get the names. That's a very simple kind of two-sentence script that you stick to. You establish your who, what, why, and then you do your introduction, you say the name. Then from there you want to have some kind of calming sentence. So for me, the best sort of sentence to kind of break the ice or calm the mood of the situation is like a good joke. And I don't rehearse jokes. I'm very intuitively good at picking up on things, so I'll just crack just a funny joke about the situation. Or you can just move into it and say, and kind of get going, you know. Or a good option is to explain a little bit about yourself in like one sentence, like, oh, I've been practicing magic for 5 years. I'm an amateur magician, or whatever it happens to be. Those are all good ideas. And then you would transition into your first trick. It's important, keep in mind with this script, you want to be honest. It's not good to lie, people can see through that. So be genuine, be yourself, and then get to the point quickly. You know, that first sentence, you need to get to the point. Okay, it's very important to get to the point and don't waste people's time. It's very important your attitude and your tone. You have to be confident, but you have to be fun, right? You want to go there and make them feel like you knew they were going to say yes. Because if you're very like, hi guys, want to see a magic? They're not going to want to see a magic because they don't even think you want to show them a magic. So you need to, part of the fake it, you make it fake the confidence if you need to. But if they can feel that element of confidence, then you are good to go. And they will want to say yes to seeing you. Acting like a fun, nice, upbeat person, being a little bit more kind of, I guess, bubbly in your personality does help because people like that and gravitate towards that. So now we're going to talk about choosing and how to pick your groups and which groups to pick. This is something very important that I do not hear talked about a lot. And I think this might be the most valuable part of this video because it's something a little bit different than you hear in some of these other how to approach videos. I am a very observant, very like people watcher type of person. Like when I'm out, I'm just a people watcher. It's what I do. I'm just observant. I pick up on things really well. So that actually transitions really well for me in this because I can observe groups from afar. Now, of course, don't be creepy, guys. Don't stare at people, but just, you're sitting there with your friends. You can listen, you can look, see, pick up little things about the groups, and then decide who will be a good group to perform with. So, some of the things to look for. Look for groups that are laughing. Look for groups that are having fun. Look for groups that match your energy. So match the upbeat, happy vibe. Look like they're having a good time. Those tend to be people who want to be entertained, and also people who will give you good reactions and will be into the magic. People who are just sitting there quiet, looking shy or whatever, they're gonna be more awkward, and they're not gonna ever get as comfortable. So they're gonna be uptight the whole time, and the reactions aren't going to be as fun. It's just not going to be as good of an experience. So look for those kind of groups. Carefully pick your groups, especially your first few times. For me, especially when I'm filming for YouTube, I am very picky. I'm very careful with the groups I approach, because I'm trying to make content and I don't want to waste my time. I do a whole set and the group is just terrible, right? So I'm very picky. I'll sit there, I might watch them for like 10 minutes. When I say watch, like I'm not like, I'm just sitting there just chatting with my friends. There's a couple different groups of people around, and I'm just kind of here and there just observing, listening, see who's laughing, having fun, and then I'll kind of narrow in on which group I want to approach, and then I'll just go up and do it. Now, there's a few other little things that I can comment on too. So male versus female groups are things that are important to consider. I'm going to speak from being a male, and I know most of the people watching my channel are a male, and unfortunately for the lady magicians, I can't give you any advice on this because I'm really not sure how it translates. I would say you guys have a really good shot, and it probably doesn't matter because you're in with the ladies, and the males will definitely want to listen to you as well, so you're good to go. But for the male magicians, there's a little bit of a different approach idea. So with a group of girls, like let's say specifically a group of all girls, if it's mixed, then you're kind of okay because you kind of get both sides of this. With a group of girls, you definitely want to be not creepy. You need to be, upbeat, happy, and confident is major, right? You need to go, approach, and kind of take control of the situation and let them know that, I'm going to show you guys something cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. So oftentimes they'll be very nice and they'll let you perform, and then that's when you want to have your strong opener, build your credibility, and then you'll be in from there. With guys can be different. You can get the guys who are there to have fun and very willing and open, or you'll get the guys who are a little bit more kind of stern and not really as interested to give you a chance because you're another guy and they don't want to waste their time talking to you. So that comes to picking your groups carefully. I tend to go for groups of girls. Also, they tend to give better reactions too, so I enjoy performing more. If I had to choose, I usually do mixed groups or groups of girls, not as often exclusively guys, unless I can tell they're going to be a great group and they're having a lot of fun. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And then young versus old, again, I always think your best age group is like your age plus or minus like 10 years is like always the best. Because for me, when I perform to much older people, yes, they still enjoy it, they still have fun, but it's never the same level of connection. Whereas people my age, it's always a much better experience. And then, they tend to be more intrigued, more involved. And again, they'll give you those better reactions. They might be a little bit more sociable. With older people, though, they're definitely going to be nice to you for the most, well, maybe not. They're going to be nice to you often, though, and willing to, listen to what you have to say. Kids, on the other hand, kids are a whole different ball game. I never would, go up to a group of kids for, an approach and be like, hey, guys, you want to see magic? Unless they were with parents and it just happened to be a group, but I would stay away personally. Now let's talk about some examples, or I'll just give you some anecdotes about some of my experience here. So the first time I ever did it, like I said, I just threw myself into the fire. I called my buddy and I said, we're doing it this day. I wasn't totally okay, let's do it. I was still nervous, but I was like, you know what, we're just gonna do it. If I set up the date, then I can't back out. So we had all the gear, we were ready, we went outside, started walking to the park, and I saw a group. And I was like, well, I can't not do it. We have all the camera, we're ready to go. I even posted it somewhere so other people could hold me accountable like I said I was gonna do it. So I went, And that's another good strategy. Tell people, tell your friends, yeah, I'm gonna go film my first street magic this weekend. So then now you have to be held accountable, right? They're gonna wanna see it. And we went and I just saw my first group. So then I just, approached, went through my line. Hey guys, I'm a magician. Can I show you something? They were like, yes. And I'll be honest, it wasn't the greatest. Like, the tricks went good. I feel like I did a pretty good set, but they were not a great group of people, just honestly looking back, in the sense of they were not super into it. They weren't the greatest, they didn't have the greatest reactions. They weren't as invested. And then I went and did my second performance that same day, and it was amazing. So then I realized, hey, it's very important on the different groups. So then I used some of my skills in reading people and getting the sense for the vibes. And then I'd start being more picky about my groups, and then when I started filming especially, that became even more important. I've always had success with the approaches because I think I come across as a very personable person, and I always entertain, so it ends up working out really nicely. So what I do when I approach is, these days I can just use the YouTube thing, and I think that helps. I think if you're filming, you guys could technically just bring a camera, right? Even if you're not on YouTube, and say I'm filming for YouTube, and then just film it, and then you can watch it back later for your own practice. You don't even have to post it, but that's actually a pretty good idea, and then it'll also give you that credibility of, hey, I'm filming for YouTube. Yes, they might ask for your channel, so you need to think about an excuse for that, or whatever it happens to be. But the point is that when I approach, I'll say, hey guys, I'm a magician, I'm filming for YouTube, can I show you something? I'll usually get a yes for sure. And then I'll say, I'm Reed, what's your guys' names? And then we'll go from there. They might ask me for my channel, and usually I'll just say, I'll give it to you after, because I like to establish a bit of that credibility first, and then we go from there. That is how I do it, and in my experience, guys, it's really not that bad, and it's much easier than it seems. So how to improve, I'm not gonna spend too long here. I give you a lot of tips on how to approach and how to do it. So those are all about, factor into the improvement process. You just gotta do it, throw yourself in the fire, guys. Honestly, start small, like I said, and then just do it. You just have to. I gave you so many techniques to hold yourself accountable. Post it, tell your friends, schedule it, and get someone else that's, reliant on it, and it'll just force you to do it. Challenge your worries and visualize your success. So anything you're worried about, I talked about this in the other video, episode 8 there, just challenge those worries. So if something's worrying you, say, why is that worrying me? Really analyze it. Why is it worrying me? Does it really matter? Is it really that serious? And you'll quickly realize it is not, and your worries aren't as bad as you think they are. And you'll just see that our worries are never as bad as it is. The stakes are not as high. It doesn't matter that much. And so challenging your worries is a great strategy. Then visualize your success. So that's an aspect that ties into, kind of manifesting, which that's not really what I'm saying. I'm just saying, think about how it could go, how your situation could go when you approach, plan it out. So I like to, think about it in my head. Okay, I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna say this. They might say this or this or this. If they say that, I'll say this. And I'm very analytical, so I like to think about all those scenarios, and you play it out in your head, and that's something you can do as you're kind of observing, picking a group. Like when you're actually in the thick of it, you say, okay, I'm gonna go to this group, and then you quickly take a few seconds and think, okay, I'm gonna say this, they're gonna answer something like this, and I'll say this, and then I'll get into the magic. Just thinking that through in your head can make you feel much more comfortable, because you kind of know what to expect. You go up, you do it, and you'll see that it's probably very close to what you're expecting. Then, of course, guys, work on your everyday social skills. Can't stress that enough. You're at the grocery store, you see, you need to ask for where something is, just go do it. You see someone who needs help, offer their help. You're standing in line beside someone, start up a conversation. All of these things are important in our everyday life, and they definitely translate to getting more comfortable in these social situations and approaching. So, big tip, whenever you can, just try to, get better in your everyday social skills. Then, of course, practice those scripts that you've worked on to approach, rehearse them, practice them on family members so you're confident, you won't forget your lines, but be loose with them still, don't be too strict, and then just go and do it, guys. So that's what I gotta say for this video. That is my tips on approaching, how to approach, why it's important, what it means, and then how to get better at it.
So I hope you guys liked this video. This was a great video. I'm happy I made this. A lot of people were asking for it. So I hope this helps because I understand that this is definitely a topic that is not easy for everyone. So if you made it this far, guys, let me know what you thought about the video. Drop me a comment, a like, all that good stuff. And let me know what other types of videos, any other videos you'd like to see in the How to Make Your Magic Better series. So guys, with all that said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.